Mallet. I block this.
Good evening, everybody.
Good evening, ma'am.
Good evening, ma'am.
It's already 6. I think it's time for us to start, I suppose. So, probably a couple of classes I'll take and then we'll shift to other topic in the unit, because unit 1 we are supposed to complete. So, anyway, now we are left with only few theories. And one more thing I just wanted to make it very clear. Though in unit 2 there is again another similar kind of a topic called theories of criminal behavior. So whether it is theories of crimes or theories of criminal behavior, they are overlapping, almost they are one and the same. So you need not get confused, more or less they are same. I have seen and I have interacted with many people, they say almost they are taken synonymously. So I don't know why that kind of a duplication is there in the syllabus, but I just wanted to make the point very clear that this is only a repetition kind of a thing. Both mean the same, whether we say criminal behavior, theories of criminal behavior or theories of crime, they are one and the same. Whatever now we are talking about, it is the same. That means when that topic comes under unit 2, we need not bother. We can take it for granted that it has already been covered. Am I clear about this? So now today I think we need to talk about the containment theory. Containment theory, or let me see whether we'll start from control theory. There are control theories. Once we complete control theories, probably we'll come to the social control and the containment and all. We'll come to that. So control theories, as the name implies, now they talk about what are the controls that we have that do play a significant role in shaping the or in minimizing or restraining somebody from exhibiting the criminal behavior. Now the famous theory under control theory is called as drift and neutralization. Drift and neutralization. So this simply means that people, why they try to show this kind of a drift, so why they drift in and drift out from the behavior, that means they try to oscillate between good and bad. Why they do that, and what are the measures and adaptation they try to maintain in order to is there any mechanism kind of a neutralization that we can talk about. So this is drift theory, and under drift theory, this is I know that means what they are, especially lower class young people. What do? They just find it unnecessary. Why should we commit to anything, whether to delinquency or to legal conformity? Why should we do that? So we will be in between, and depending upon the situation we can mold ourselves to legal conformity or delinquency. That means all young people belonging to the lower strata, they don't want to commit themselves either way, commit to the legal conformity or to the delinquency. So given a chance, they drift sometime in an unidentified area, and they feel it is unnecessary. Why should I choose? Let me not be committal to either of this. This is what is the mentality of the young people. Now, if that being the case, process of becoming a criminal revolves around a learning experience, isn't it? It's a learning experience, and in which criminal techniques enable a man to counterbalance and neutralize the conventional values and drift back and forth between the illegitimate and conventional behavior. Are you able to understand this? So, drift and neutralization is such a process. No, it is in a process of becoming a criminal, revolve around the learning experience in which the criminal techniques enable a man. So, he is going to learn some techniques which will which will enable that person to counterbalance or neutralize the conventional values. So, conventional values are there, but then this kind of neutralization is going to neutralize, counterbalance. It is going to counterbalance the cultural values, conventional cultural values, and drift back. So either he can drift into the conformancy, or he may drift away from the legitimate means and adopt illegitimate channels. So that is called drifting and neutralization. So now in the process of neutralization, he is going to adopt lot of in order to support his own or rather he is going to rationalize himself out of the moral mind of the childhood development and justify his delinquent behavior. So what he does is he is going to apply rationalization, and then he says he will be out of the bounds of the moral, whatever that has been taught to him during his childhood. So when he was a child, he must have been given some morals. You are not supposed to do this, you are supposed to follow this. These morals are given to them, but then whatever he does now, he will rationalize those illegal activities and justify his delinquent behavior. Now, what are the ways and means by which he is able to achieve this or justify his delinquent behavior? So, this is by 5 ways almost. There are 5 ways of neutralization. They are called neutralization. So, the moment he tries to justify himself, and then whatever moral that he was taught during childhood, and he does something different, and for that deviant behavior he will justify. So whatever his act is, why it should not be called as deviant behavior, he rationalizes his actions. He is going to rationalize his actions, and then he is going to justify by adopting one of these 5 methods of neutralization. So what are those methods? Now these methods are called denial of responsibility. One is called the denial of responsibility. What do we mean by this? He would like to deny, the person would like to deny responsibility with some lame excuse. He is going to say a lot of excuses, isn't it? So why he has adopted that particular behavior, or why is his behavior deviant? For that he has got a rationalization. What is that? What rationalization is he going to give? He is going to give some lame excuses or make some arguments. So examples, best thing is, my intentions were not bad. So when I did this, my intentions were not at all bad. He is going to say, it's not my fault. It just happened as a self-defense. It's not my fault, isn't it? So he is going to say, that means whatever general exceptions that we are talking about, now currently in IPC, they are called as some arguments, self-defense arguments that he is talking about under the denial of responsibility. So he doesn't say that I am responsible for this act, but rather he is trying to look into some excuses, and he says some arguments, he picks up arguments, and then he says the best examples are, say, my intentions were not bad, in good faith I did it, or no, it's not at all my fault, some fault is there on the victim side also. So like that he is going to rationalize his own, or rather give justification to his own behavior. So that is denial of responsibility. Now the second thing is denial of injury. So what do we know about this? Nobody got injured, though there was some deviant behavior on my part. So in the process, nobody got hurt. So why should we make it a big issue? Isn't it? Real crime occurred because the act was harmless to society or anybody else. So though it was an act, but in the process, in the end, nobody is getting hurt. So why should you make it an issue? So that's another denial of injury. Or he may say, I never wanted to hurt him, it was just an accident. So he is going to say that injury, no, yes, no doubt it's an injury, but then I never wanted to hurt him. So whatever I was doing, it was just an accident, it just happened accidentally. That's the denial he is going to make. Then he was not injured by my action. So he also got injured, but then I don't know. I was trying to only ward off, and then in the process he has fallen down and he sustained injury, head injury. I am not responsible for that. So I was, I was not, my action was not responsible. He got injured, no doubt, in the scuffle, but that injury I have not caused, something like that. So nobody cares. Why are we making? Why are you making it a big deal out of it when there is no loss or damage? So his plea is, his defense is, say nobody got injured. There is no big harm that has been done to the society. I am saying it is just an accident, or my intentions were never bad. I never wanted to hurt him, and whatever injury he sustained is also by his own action. It's not on account of my action. So these are all the excuses which are baseless and lame excuses that he is going to offer. So this kind of a defense is called or denial is called denial of injury. So first one was denial of responsibility. The second type of neutralization that he is going to adopt is denial of injury. So the third category is denial of crime, denial of the so offender will claim against the victim that he was deserving to be punished. What he says is, no, he deserves punishment. He deserves punishment. So good that it has happened to. Whatever has happened to him is good. That's what he is going to say. And he deserves to be punished. Best example that we can take is, a boy throws acid on a girl's face and justifies his action. He says, she had promised me that she will marry me, and then later on she was moving very close with me, and later on she denied. When I proposed her, she bluntly rejected that. She's going to marry somebody else, and that's the reason why I did it. So a delinquent views that act as not being wrong, and offender claims the victim was on the wrong side. So she deserves to be tortured and punished and killed. So this is, and she is killed because she is a whistleblower, like in the case of the doctor. Why should she become a whistleblower? Nobody was dare enough to do this. Why she alone as a brave lady, why should she do this whistleblowing kind of a thing? So she deserves punishment. So she deserves it. This kind of a denial is also there. And the fourth one is condemnation of the condemned. So the person sees condemned as hypocrites and deviant in disguise, impelled by personal spite and by attacking others. The wrongness of his own behavior is confused. So offender will claim that the condemner's behavior is just and bad, and offender will argue, let us forget everything. Nobody was punished for such silly mistakes. So what is the best example I can give? I am a good person. I am just have only bad habits. Offender will talk about his good qualities and tries to justify himself as justifies himself. So this is a kind of condemns of condemners. And the fifth one is the appeal to higher loyalties. And offender claims that his action was selfless motive. And he will say, I was just trying to help someone else, and a person uh, kills another after being arrested. He says victim was creating problem to my boss, and that's why I killed him. So my friend forced me to kill him. That's how I killed. So for to achieve higher kind of loyalties and all, so I have done that. This is the explanation he is going to give. So neutralization and drifting theory only says that why people drift from commitment to the delinquency, and what are all the methods and ways he is trying to adopt as a means of neutralization. So lot of denials are there. It can be denial of responsibility, it can be denial of injury, denial of victim, it can be condemnation of the condemned, and then maybe for a higher loyalties, to appeal to higher loyalties, he may be using this as a weapon of neutralization. So this is about drift and neutralization theory. And the social control theory, Hirsch's social control theory. Now, what does this social control theory says? Now, social control theory only emphasizes that factors that prevent people from engaging in criminal behavior. Hitherto we were talking about what are the factors which are responsible for criminal behavior, but social control theory, on the contrast, says what are the factors that prohibit or prevent somebody from engaging in criminal behavior. Now, it tries to argue that individuals are more likely to commit crimes when their social bonds are weak, because we are social animals, and in order to be a healthy person, we should have lot of social bonds, and they are acting as a deterrents, or they are preventing us from committing a kind of a criminal behavior. So what are those criminal bonds? So the moment these bonds are going to be weak, then there is a tendency on the part of the individual to take a deviant behavior. Now there are again four important key concepts of social bonds that can prevent crime. If you try to enlist them, it is the attachment, commitment, involvement, and then belief. So these are the four key elements of social bonds. So social bonds, as we all know, are very strong bonds, and then that keeps somebody from moving towards the deviant behavior. Now, when the moment the social bonds become weak, then there is every possibility that the person may shift to or drift to the criminal behavior. So, if you have to enlist those key elements of social bonds, then the four key elements we can say are attachment, commitment, involvement, and then belief. Now, these are the four kind of key elements. Now, every person has some needs and desires. We all know that each one of us has needs, may be different, but definitely all of us have needs and desires that can easily be fulfilled through the crime. Because for me to opt for a hard procedure or hard method, so I would not prefer, given an opportunity that there is another method, easy method, quick method, shortcut method, if I can follow that, if I am able to succeed in that way, so nobody would prefer a hard way. When option is thrown to them between the easy method and the hard method, so naturally humans, they want pleasure. They are all agnostic. They enjoy pleasure. So pleasure, if it is achieved in the quickest, shortest time, so people prefer that way, even if that means not approved by the law, or otherwise termed as criminal. So every person has some needs and desires that can easily be fulfilled through a shortcut, and if it is not approved by the society, then we call it as a crime. And when I have to follow a legal channel, if that is taking me, it is going to be hard method or a difficult method or the longest method, then I don't prefer, because in comparison there is a very shortcut method, easily achieved, and then my desire, most of my desires are getting fulfilled, so why not I go for that method? So the path, which path somebody goes will definitely be decided by the social bonds. Social bonds, when they are weak, we opt for that shortcuts. And if they are strong, why social bonds, when they are strong, are putting us in the right path? Because social bonds are the societal norms are going to teach us, and right from the childhood, what is bad, what is good, which path has to be adopted, which path has to be rejected. These kind of morals are given to us by means of the social bonds. And then social bonds, as we know, there are different societal institutions through which, as the child grows, we are given a lot of morals and ethics. Now, for example, it is much easier to steal money instead of doing some work for it. So when I get money, easy money, by illegal means, in an easy way, why should I go and do a very hard work to eke out my livelihood when it is easily available? So therefore, according to these control theories, uh, it is trying to explain why some people only resort to crime, and whereas others, most of them, the law abiding citizens, why are they sticking on to the conventional ways to fulfill their needs? So that's what it's precisely going to give. Policies, there are certain policies. How to make a social bond strong, how to strengthen this kind of a social bond, there are again lot of policies that we need to implement. So what are those policies? If you have to enlist those policies, as many as 4 we can enlist. That is promoting family involvement. So family, because it's the immediate social institution that plays a very pivotal role in the life of the person, or in shaping the character of a person. So if you can promote this family involvement, then your social bonds with the individual is going to be very, very strong. Now, what are the programs which can promote the family involvement? Programs that support families, encourage healthy parent-child relations. These are some of the programs which, by promoting, by indulging the individual in these kind of involvements, the family involvement, that is one such policies which will strengthen the social bond of the individual to the society, and thereby it discourages, since the bond is so strong, it discourages, because he is so busy in following the legitimate means, he doesn't find time or resource to think about the other ways. So promoting promoting the family involvement is one such policy that one can employ to strengthen the social bond. And next is enhancing their educational opportunities. Individuals achieve education goals and then develop a sense of commitment to the society. So when these opportunities are given, or enhancing opportunities are given to pursue the academic choices, then individual will achieve his whatever education academics he wants to pursue in his life. If you can make them available, so he will be channelized towards that, and he is going to achieve those goals. So that will develop more and more person is educated, more and more he is going to develop a sense of commitment to the society. So that is next step is the academics, that is educational opportunities. The third is recreational activities like programs that offer positive positive things, and then engaging in activities will definitely help the individuals to, particularly youth, when you talk about they will, their energies will be properly channelized, and that paves way for the social, strengthening the social bond. So that is the third aspect is recreational activities. That means channelizing the energies of the youth towards providing recreational activities will make his social bond strong, and then he will not be finding time to think about other things. Now, the fourth one is promoting the moral and ethics ethical values, that is programs that teach individual about societal norms and values. These are also very important. But unfortunate, the current kind of education, they are very much wanting. So it will be surprising if you notice my own experience that when we were doing a kind of training need analysis for the currently recently joined IPS probationers, we were given some questionnaire. We were asked to give some questionnaire to these people to answer, and from different groups of the society, like laymen, and then prosecutors, criminal justice system, stakeholders of CJS. They were all asked, distributed this questionnaire. They were given this, and then you will be surprised to notice the outcome. Now, the attitude, knowledge can be acquired, skills, knowledge can be acquired by reading or interaction, and skills can be acquired. And only thing is the attitude is one thing they have to consciously cultivate, which no institution teaching will impart them. So attitude, because police especially, the attitude is very very important. How you interact with the people, with the press, with the politicians and all, that is attitude. Ethical and morals, they said this is wanting. Ethicals and morals is one subject. Definitely in academia, like police academies, it should be taught to the police. So because this is making the police so they don't have any emotions, and the way they interact with the victims or the complainants is so disgusting that nobody would like to visit a police station. So what they strongly recommended in training need analysis is, no, you reduce the theory content of the syllabus, rather you have more content for ethics and morals. So this is what is the outcome of the teaching analysis. Very interesting to note this. So even in these theories, they say that the social bonds have to be strengthened. Now social bonds, we know that there are institutions, social institutions, educational institution, then the family institution. So like that, in these institutions, we have to create enough opportunities for the individual, so that immediate family members, if they have good culture and if they have good brought up, then there is a healthy parent-child relationship. Or there are single parents. If you try to analyze going by empirical data, so the children who are in conflict with law, who are neglected children, or who become delinquent and all. So if you see their social background, so most of them, they are single, they have single parents, or the parent, one of the parents, especially the father, he is a drunkard and he is into all vices. He comes every day, beats up the wife, and this kind of a family background you have. So that means there is no healthy parent-child relationship. So all that you have to do is support family systems, and then encourage, try to create a very healthy family atmosphere where you can encourage the healthy parent-child relationship. So likewise, education also, then some schemes and all for downtrodden and all, if there are some incentives from the government side, so that even for the people who are below poverty line, if there are some incentives in the education, like scholarships and all for backward classes and all, if these are created, equal opportunities on par with the haves, and that will create a kind of a commitment in the child. Then we also said recreational. These days schools are granted, they are given permission, any building which is so, space-wise it is so congested without any playground and all. So they are getting permissions. So there is no recreational aspect at all. Every time only reading, tuition, reading, and then even for entrance there is one entrance. So like that we are pressing the children and then taxing too much their brains and all. So they are not able to spend any time for recreation. So you have to provide some recreational programs also, so that the, all work and no play makes the boy dull, isn't it? That kind of a proverb will prevail, and he will not be a fully healthy child, grown up fully child. So these are some ways, and of course promoting moral and ethical values. So constantly the individual has to be told about what is good, what is bad, what is expected, social norm and all. So these things have to be, and these are all acting as social controls. So social control is nothing but a kind of a control exercised by the society. And why people, only few people are committing crime, why not others, why most of them are law abiding? So this is a kind of a theory which says, I mean, why there is no criminal behavior that is being exhibited by some, why most of them are law abiding. So these are all the social controls they are going to put forth, which is making people law abiding rather than lawbreakers, isn't it? So this is about the social control theory. The propounder, the criminologist, is called Hershey. Now we'll go for containment. Containment theory is also another kind of a theory, that there are inner urges, outer controls and all. It only says that there are some factors that prevent individuals from engaging in criminal behavior. What are those factors? So they are going to list out what are all the factors that will prohibit or prevent some individual from engaging the criminal behavior. They likely commit crime in absence of internal and external controls. So what this theory, containment theory, proposes is, there are two kinds of controls which will make somebody or prevent somebody from indulging in illegal activities, or preventing somebody to exhibit this kind of a criminal behavior. So what are those factors? Now the moment we say inner containment, inner controls which are there inside the individual, and outer controls are external controls that try to suppress these kind of negative behaviors. So inner containment, internal forces. What are the internal forces or inner forces? Self-control, ego strengthening. These are all the kinds of controls that we have. So avoiding temptations and all. So controlling our own inner urges and all. So these are inner controls, or otherwise are called as inner containment. And when it comes to outer containment, societal support, and then evidence is coming from family, friends, community. So these are all the systems or institutions which are putting lot of controls or containment on us. So there are two types of controls that way: inner control, otherwise called as containment, and then outer containment. Now there are also pushes and pulls. So individuals are influenced by both internal pushes towards crime, that is negative emotion, and pulls external towards the crime, that is opportunities for criminal activity. So both push and pull, they are operating, and opposite direction. That is what is individuals are influenced by both internal pushes towards crime. That means whatever negative emotions that we have, they are influencing us. Now pulls are those external towards crime, that is opportunities for criminal activities. So there need to be a balance. Individuals are more likely to engage in criminal behavior when pushes towards crime. So whatever engagement individuals are more likely to engage in a criminal behavior when pushes towards crime, when the inner urges that are there, when they are pushing us towards crime, so they are exhibiting this kind of a criminal behavior. If they are going to outweigh the pulls towards the conformity, that means there are two ways. One, you deviate from the normalcy and become a deviant, or conform it to the normalcy and then you become a conformist. Now the two forces like pulls and pushes, they are acting in opposite direction, and you need to cut a balance. That's what it says. Now individuals are more likely to engage in criminal behavior when pushes towards crime outweigh the pulls towards the conformity, isn't it? So this is like the Newton's law of motion. It says, opposite direction and all. So third law of motion. Similarly, pushes and pulls, they are to be balanced, and then whereas pushes will outweigh. If they outweigh the pulls, then there is going to be crime and all. So this theory of containment is talking about two types of controls: the inner control and then the outer control, otherwise called as containment. And the push and pull pressures also one has to understand. Now the pushes are towards committing crime, they are negative kind of emotions, and pulls are those external forces which drive us towards the criminal. That is, what kind of opportunities are available for somebody to become criminal and all. So there has to be a balance. As I said, individuals are more likely to engage in criminal behavior when pushes towards crime outweigh the pull towards the conformity. So this is a push and pull kind of a containment theory. Now containment theory by Reckless, he is the one who propounded this theory. What it says is, criminal behavior arises when a group fails to control individual deviant behavior. So there is an individual deviant behavior, and if that is not curtailed, then criminal behavior will be the result. So effective containment within the society's value minimizes crime. So if there are societal values, if they are effective, if there is a containment on these things, then it will minimize crime happening. But urban life tempts people to commit crime by breaching the outer containment. So we always have a lot of temptations, and especially urban life, you try to compare neighborhood and all. So people commit crime by breaching the outer containments. We know that what are the outer societal norms and all, these are the outer containments. We try to breach that, and thereby we commit crime. Then inner containment by individual himself from self-control and all. If you have these kind of traits, so these inner containments will make somebody not to adopt the criminal behavior. So he will stick to the norms of the society. Now, what are the four key factors of containment theory? So this is self-concept, goal orientation, frustration, tolerance, norm retention. These are some of the key factors of containment. So what do you understand by self-concept? It refers to individuals having an image of himself as a law follower or lawbreaker. So you have your own concept, whether you want to abide by the law or you want to prove yourself as a lawbreaker is all your self-concept, So self-concept is one of the key factors in the containment theory. So it only refers that individuals having an image of himself, what kind of person you are. Are you a law follower or are you a lawbreaker? It's all our self-concept. Now, example is, if you think you are respectful and comply with law, then you have a strong sense of self, isn't it? That is, you are a law-abiding citizen. So that is your self-concept. And then less inclined to consider to commit crime. So that is your self-concept. Why are you a good person? That is your self-concept, because you are respecting laws. You are whatever law provides, you are you are completely complying with that law, and then you have a sense of strong self-concept. That means you are a law-abiding citizen. Now, goal orientation, what do you mean by goal orientation? Now, person has a sense of direction in life, a purpose in life, and then aspiration towards a realistic goal achievable in legitimate means. He has qualities and resilience and then determination. His priorities are this. So there is a purposeful goal for him, and then he is adopting all legal means to achieve that. So there is a purpose in life. So when you are so occupied in achieving your legitimate goal, so you don't have time to allocate to any deviant behavior. You cannot just become deviant because you are so occupied in other ways in achieving your goal, so you don't find time to think of other means. Then frustration tolerance, what do you understand? A desire to commit a deviant behavior is biophysical. It's a biophysical phenomena, and it is compounded by society not offering sufficient opportunity. But you know why you have become frustration tolerant? Because your energies are channelized in such a way that you don't find time to think of achieving anything by illegal means. So that kind of tolerance you have attained. Now example is, there are people in a class of society. A person is considered facing hurdles in his efforts to succeed, becoming dissatisfied. So I want to follow a righteous path, but then I find in the process a lot of hurdles. So if there are two ways, I have hurdles, so I'll not choose this path, a very difficult path for me, because it seems to have a lot of hurdles. So let me not go in this path, but rather go by another path which is which doesn't have any hurdle for me, which I'm sure that I can attain. If that is my thing, so I have not attained that frustration tolerance. So if I am intolerable to frustration, I rather leave this righteous path and then adopt the other path. So that is, how much tolerance you have for frustration and all also matters in shaping your character. Then norm retention is nothing but adhering to the whatever is being accepted as normal, adhering to that norms, codes, rules, regulations, and protocols, social norms. If you are able to do this, you are retaining the norm. So there are different ways and means by which you can contain your feelings and all. So both external as well as internal. And then for self containment and all, what are the for controlling the inner controls, for the list of inner controls are given as self concept and what do you think of yourself. So that is one key factor. Another key factor is goal orientation, the third being frustration tolerance, and the last being the norm retention. So these are some of the key factors as far as the containment is concerned. Now we also now are left with only one kind of a theory, that is called labeling theory. Labeling theory is one theory propounded by Tenenbaum. He is the propounder of this theory, label theory. So a person is becoming deviant not by the act itself, but then how society is going to label him. So how society is going to tag him. So that's all about criminal labeling theory method. Now it only has, in identifying, it has given some steps. The criminal justice system identified some steps. What are those steps? That is, no act is intrinsically criminal, but it is made by the law. So crimes as given by the definition by the law. So not all acts are criminal, but then the one which when we say criminal, it should have the sanction of the law. So made by the law. Now criminal definitions are enforced in the interest of the powerful groups by their representatives, including the police. So there are representatives by the people, and they are the ones who are going to formulate the laws, and the laws are being implemented and enforced by the police. That means those powerful groups, because they are capable of enforcing, so that means they are powerful, and legislators are powerful. Why? They are capable of making laws. So there are some powerful groups which are doing this, and then the definition of crime has to come from the law. That means legislators categorize some acts as criminal, and in the same law they also give the punishment. That what is the sanction for that illegal activity is also given. It should all be it will be dictated by a powerful group, whether it be police or whether it be representatives like legislators and all, and whatever they say, whatever they give as the definition for crime, that stands out as crime, but not all other illegal activities. So it should have a definition in law, and it should also have the approval by the representatives, and it should be enforced by the police. Now a person does not become criminal by violating the law, but by the labeling process by which authorities confer this status upon him. So as I said, the criminal act, a person becomes criminal not by violating law. So even if he violates a law, he'll be convicted by the court, he'll be put behind bar, and after he comes also, this label the society is going to give him is so bothering him. Because if you want to apply for a job, or if you are in the lookout of a rented house and all, you are deprived of these opportunities because the society has already put a label on you. Yes, they have put a tag on you that you have already spent some time in the prison, or some police happen to take you, arrest you, and then take you in the jeep and all, police jeep. So that acts as a stigma, social stigma, and then you are deprived of because of the labeling process. And dichotomizing people into criminal and non-criminal categories as contrary to common sense and empirical evidence. Even if there is no empirical data, evidence, clear evidence, but then when you try to dissect people into criminal and non-criminal categories, then that also is a one way or one method of labeling people. Then only a few persons are caught in violation of law, while many may be equally guilty. So what do you understand? Now there are people who have some power, influences, and then they do commit wrong things, they do commit crimes, and then they are going scot-free, while others who similarly do indulge in similar kind of activities, they are being punished, their guilt is proved, whereas in other case, another set of people doing the similar kind of an act, which is also termed as crime, but then they are going scot-free, but in the trial they are able to manage such that there is no evidence against them. So when there is no evidence, enough evidence to prove his guilt, the benefit of doubt goes to him, so he will be released and then he will go scot-free. So this kind of a thing also is one factor acting in the label theory. Now, while the sanctions used in law enforcement are directed against the total person and not only the criminal act, the severity and consequences of the penalty vary according to the characteristics of the offender. See, some offences, some acts are so severe that there is a severe punishment for that. The sanction of the law is also very severe, and whereas others, that is, the consequences are not that severe. Accordingly the penalty should vary depending upon the crime and then the offender. Now criminal sanctions also vary. According to the characteristics of the offender, such as minority groups and transient, poorly educated, residents of the deteriorated urban areas and other factors, isn't it? Now we know that minority groups and transient, the criminal sanctions should also vary, isn't it? So in reality that doesn't happen, equality before law, equal treatment to all. So that is what our constitution has given us now. The criminal justice is based on a stereotyped concept of criminal as a willful wrongdoer. So whenever a criminal is there, we try to give him a tag that in a stereotypic, so there must be some willful wrong on his part. That is how he is labeled as a criminal, and criminal justice also punishes him. This kind of you know a stereotypic concept we may carry as public. So who is morally bad and deserves condemnation only. So a person maybe only he may be little morally bad, but he may not be doing a willful wrongdoer. But then what is the label that the society is going to give, or what is the label that the criminal justice system is going to give? Stereotype. So the moment we say criminal, yes, definitely he is a willful wrongdoer. So maybe the reality is that he is only morally wrong, or morally he may be bad. But in this kind of condemnation, we say that no, he deserves punishment, he deserves condemnation and all. No, this is the kind of stereotype we are trying to give. That is, CJ is based on a stereotype kind of a typing. That is, willful wrongdoer, morally bad person deserves condemnation. So this is one how the criminal justice system or society at large, how they try to stereotype a particular criminal. Now once labeled as a criminal, it is difficult for an offender to live down the label and restore himself to respected status in the society. So you try to convince after the conviction, after you spend your time in prison, after imprisonment, when you come out with a clean sheet also, people are not going to believe you, and you have already lived down to a status. You are being labeled as no criminal. Now if you want to restore back to your normalcy, the status which you enjoyed earlier, you will not be able to come to that respectful status, because the society is not going to accept you. Society has given you a label, and then it is going to be permanent on you. The tag is going to be there, and it will be very, very difficult for somebody to come up to that stage, restore his original status of a respectable position. It will be very, very difficult for you. So this is a labeling theory where person is being labeled. And then it only says the crease and ward. These are again two distinguished criminologists. They say labeling process can be identified on certain parameters. So what are those parameters? In the eyes of a child, behavior that is proper as play may include breaking windows, climbing over roofs, or generally raising hell. So children, if you they by nature they are the ones who are not able to understand the consequences. Even if there is a bad act, they because of their tender age, they are not able to understand which is what are the consequences of that. But then for them it may look that climbing windows, breaking windows or roofs and all these are playful, they may think. But then you have to tell them, as an elderly person, you have to tell them that what are the consequences of this. So that is one way of identifying thing, labeling process, one of the factors that you need to consider. So demands for suppression of the bad behavior are made by the child, by community members, and sometimes parents also. So parents as such, or the community as such, they have to demand some suppression of the bad behavior. If suppose that is continued, so that may in the adult life also they may prefer that deviant behavior. So that needs, there is a suppression of the this kind of behavior even in the childhood also. It has to happen, and the demands are being made by either the parents or by the community members. Then in the face of this reaction by adults, the child may feel that an injustice is being done to him, and more importantly that his community and perhaps his parents consider him different from the good children. So when they are going to parents or community, when they are going to distinguish between a good child and a bad child, the reaction by the adults is something different. And in the process, the child feels, I consider this as a play. What wrong did I do? Why are they scolding me? Why are they trying to tell me these things? So the child, it is unable to understand, why this kind of injustice is being done to him. Why are they, trying to differentiate between, why are they labeling me as a bad child, and how am I different from a good child? This kind of a conflict. Now, parents, police, and others may then scrutinize and look with suspicion upon all the uh, um, youngster's activity, his companions, his speech, and his personality, thus reinforcing the definition of him as bad. Now, the way somebody dresses, the way somebody looks, and all youngsters' activities collectively. So these are the people who are going to scrutinize. Parents on one hand, police on the other hand. The way you speak, the friend circle you have, the companions that you have, and the personality that you display. So they are all reinforcing the definition of him as bad. Now, what is the predisposed thing? Once the child discovers that he has been defined as bad and that even his efforts to be good are interpreted as evidence of his badness. See, only thing is you have already been labeled as one. Even if you want to try to display some good, some efforts to become good and all, even that is interpreted as badness. And then he may become even more predisposed towards the individual. This kind of a deviant behavior. So you are predisposing the child. That means, so you have identified a one bad character, you try to tell him that it is bad character. So in the process he wants to refine himself, he wants to reform himself, and then he makes some efforts to become good and all. So if you have already labeled him, predisposed him as a bad, so even if some good effort is there on his part, you are not able to appreciate that. So, a good example labeling that appears frequently in the criminal justice system is somebody indicates that a person looks like a homosexual. Now, indirect evidence in the form of a rumor is frequently translated into decision making. Though it may be a rumor, but then you still try to, act upon that. You want to make a decision based upon that regarding the treatment of the individual so labeled. See, he may not be a homosexual, but then rumor is so strong that it spreads. But then if you just try to look at him, because he has got that tag or label already, so rumor is there, so that has given him a label, so you will only like to see those characters in him only, even if he is not that one. So that is one example. And police officers have been given considerable discretions in apprehending youths, and it has been observed that certain youths, particularly from minority, racial, and think groups, are those dressed in that particular style were treated more severely than others for comparable offences. So if there are two categories now, comparative comparable offences, if you try to compare these two, so you have some predetermined or prejudices that people dressed in a particular way, a minority, racial wise, or Muslims, and all, different style, so they will be treated more severely than those uh, people in comparative offences. He'll be treated, the other people were treated differently. So they have this kind of predisposition. Now, um, there is a concept of self-fulfilling prophecy also, which comes out of the labeling theory given by Martin and others. Mm, I think we have done with almost, there are minor schools of thought of which we need not bother, because we have spent, dwelt enough time on these mm, criminal theories. Probably tomorrow's class I would like to take up another topic from the same unit. So let us try to complete unit 1 and go to the unit 2, because there are a lot many topics which remained uncovered. So we have been stuck to only theories of crimes, and now there are crimes against property, person, traditional crimes, modern crimes. There are lot many things which we need to cover. Probably tomorrow's class I'll touch upon the crimes against property. Then we'll can discuss crimes against person and other traditional crimes. I think that's all for today. We'll leave the meeting for today.
Ma'am,
Yes. Yes.
ma'am, can you talk a bit about this exam situation because I'm a bit confused. I also texted on the group regarding that because in
Which
paper
exam?
two we were informed that it is going to be online and now it's said like it's offline. So could you just tell us how it's going to be?
Yes, yes. So one Vishal Bulke, there is one person from headquarters. He gives me clarification that you have completed your TA1. That is your Socrative mode. You have already done, isn't it? So that is online.
Yes.
No problem. You have all attended, and most of you have written that. No issue in that. But when it comes to you are allotted this Pune campus, or which campus are you allotted?
Yes, ma'am, Pune campus.
You are in which stream of PG diploma?
Ma'am, DNA forensics.
I think the second paper is being taken by Lakshmi Meghna, if I am right.
Yes.
No,
Yes.
with regard to your practical and with regard to your minor project, she is the one who is responsible. Am I right about that?
Yes.
So, for practical and for a mid-sem exam and final exam, you are supposed to come to the campuses and give the exam. So, because
So,
practicals
ma'am, what?
cannot be taught online, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So, for
Understand.
mid-sem, you have got the calendar, you know the calendar. Academic calendar is shared already with you.
Ma'am, is it on Telegram? Because I don't think I've received it. So, if you could just share it again on the group.
No, shared already in the group, not in Telegram. We have shared it in the group.
Ma'am, the syllabus that I could see was only for this thing, fingerprint sciences. That is why.
Calendar is different from syllabus.
See, syllabus is something different. Calendar is the one which gives you the approximate dates on which different exams are going to be held. That is calendar. Syllabus is
Yeah,
something
yeah,
different.
understand. But
You are not in
I
receipt
couldn't
of
find it
calendar.
on the group.
It's been shared
Yeah,
long
no.
back. But
Yeah, ma'am, I scrolled it up through the
how about
chat, but I
others?
couldn't
Others should
find it.
react. Those who are in the group should say. All
I
of you.
think that the calendar was only for T1, ma'am.
What is it?
Yes, ma'am. The TA1 was only given.
Only for that calendar. I mean, calendar means it will be for the entire year.
No, ma'am, no. We have
We
not
haven't
get it.
received that.
See,
That
No,
is
this
the
is
only
yes.
see timetable is different. Please understand. Terminology
We
is set.
understand, ma'am. We understand timetable is
Yeah.
different. And for exam, this is it is only T1
Huh.
which has been shared, ma'am.
No, no, there is an annual calendar. If it is not shared, if
No, ma'am, we haven't received
I'll
it.
I'll share that. No problem.
Not
There is a calendar.
Yeah.
Whether it is for diploma or for degree, there is a calendar. That means all campuses have to be on the same footing. Whenever they conduct exams, it should be uniform for everybody, isn't it? So for that reason, they have
Yeah.
prepared a calendar. Annual calendar in which what exam is happening on what date. It is been clear in that. I'll share that if I have not shared so far. I don't know how I missed it. I'll send it again. I'll share it in the group so that you will know. And the respective campuses you need to visit because practicals and all for demo purpose, for understanding the practical, and you also have a practical exam mid semester. Mid semester also there is a exam for practical. So practical demo, practical exam, and then your mid semester exam and semester exam. So those many times you need to physically visit your campuses.
Yes, ma'am.
Ma'am, but
That's true.
practical and mid-semester is going to be all together, right? Because that's what we have been told.
Listen. So we have 4 papers in 4 units in each paper. Is that right?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
Four units in S1 P1, for example, the subject which I am teaching, the paper I am teaching, we have 4 units, isn't it? At the moment I complete 2 units, probably that time you will have the mid semester exam.
So, ma'am, Ma'am, can you just give tentative dates so we have an
I'll
idea
share
what
that
to
calendar, then it becomes very
even for
clear for all of
commuting
you.
and everything?
I'll share that calendar. So it gives you when your TA1 is going to be, when your mid semester exam is going to be, and your semester exam and all. So you need to plan. You need to plan such that, for practical exposure and practical exam and for mid-sem exam, you have to give in one go. That is one time you will be coming, and next time in the same semester when you come for this semester end exam, twice you may have to come in a given semester. You may have to come twice.
Okay, ma'am.
So you have to plan. Once I share the calendar, you can plan accordingly. So as per my calculations, you have to come twice. That is, first time when you come, you have to come prepared for the practical demo as well as the practical exam, and also your minor project. Has it been discussed, your minor project and all? Has it been discussed with you?
No, ma'am, not yet.
Now, for
We have
DNA
just been
stream,
told that.
Meghna is the one who is in charge. For Pune, Meghna is in charge for minor projects and practicals, as far as
Yeah.
DNA is concerned. For fingerprints, there is only one girl allocated Pune campus. I think she is from Kerala. Are you there? I don't recollect the name of that girl. Aishwarya maybe? Are you there?
Ashwati.
Are you there in the group?
Yes, ma'am.
You are the one. What is your name?
Ashwati.
Ashwarthi.
Ashwari.
Yes, ma'am.
Aishwari.
Ashwati.
So you are the only one. Now you have to plan, because Kerala it is very difficult. Where are you? Kerala only, if I am right.
Yes, ma'am.
So it will be difficult for you to get tickets and all. You need to plan in advance. Let me share the calendar. Then accordingly you need to plan. So plan twice if you can make it. So midsem exam also you have to write offline. You have to come here physically to Pune and write. And for practical also you need to come. So we'll plan your program. Let me share, and I can plan your program for practical, because practical and midsem exam you have to come here, and during that time you may have to think about your mini project, because you need to submit your mini project, two different mini projects for each semester. Two minor projects you may have to do. So we'll plan all that for you, because you are the only one from Pune, so we can plan. For about others, you have to talk to your concerned program coordinators, and you will get the input accordingly. Now, for crime scene management and document and ballistics, whatever programs that are there, so the concerned persons will tell you about the project and the practical, when they have to visit, and when they have to appear for midsem and all. I think there is a common timetable that is going to be there, but still I can tentatively, more or less, the dates are confirmed anyway, because this is going to be uniform for everybody. So I'll share that calendar, then accordingly you can all plan. Just give me a minute time. The moment I leave from the meeting, I'll be able to share these things to you. Others, you need to talk to the concerned program coordinators. Am I right? Am I clear about these things?
Yes, ma'am.
So you are opting, sir, what is the stream you have opted, PG stream?
For me, ma'am, I'm in document examination.
Document, I mean Delhi.
Delhi, New Delhi.
So was there any
Going to
input?
campus is not a problem with me.
No, not going to the may not be problem, but then how about your minor? Did you decide by now which
They have
project
not-
you are going to?
They will organize it next month, ma'am.
They have already given you that input.
They have given the input tentatively that it will happen in October.
But mid-semester exam and all, are you clear about those things? They told you anything about that?
They did not tell that it is on offline or online. Either way, it has to be completed. If it is offline, we go to the center. Otherwise, it is online. We do it from home. That's not an issue.
You don't have, but how about other stream PG diploma stream people are there?
And there are some, I think, for crime scene and management. Crime scene.
For Pune, we don't have anybody for crime scene management, but other people should talk to the concerned program coordinators and tie up things. Otherwise, booking tickets and all will become an issue. For locals, it may not be that difficult, but going to I think you are Mr. Murali, if I am right. Murali Lal, what is your name? Murari Lal. So for you, there is no difficulty. You are a localite, and then you can go there to the institution and then do the thing. But others, those who come from faraway states like Kerala and all, for them you need to really plan. Otherwise, getting tickets is an issue there.
I think for Delhi center, ma'am, except one girl, she is from Indore. Rest everybody is almost in the same vicinity.
So no problem.
In the Delhi, Faridabad, Gurgaon, NCR only.
Okay.
So there's not an issue, much issue.
Crime scene management?
I'm not aware about that, ma'am.
But they are, nobody asked me about crime scene because since I don't have anybody crime scene management, so I have no responsibility for that.
Ma'am, I am from crime scene management, ma'am.
You have opted crime scene management, but then you have opted which this thing center?
Delhi, ma'am.
Delhi, I think people who are in Delhi, you stay in Delhi or you stay in some other place?
I stay in Delhi, ma'am.
So how about you? Did they give any input on mid-sem exam or the minor project? Did you identify any mini project by now?
Not yet, ma'am. Not yet, ma'am.
So who is going to, some faculties allotted for that?
Ma'am, there is no update as such.
No, there is Dr. Richa.
Yeah, ma'am.
So you please be in contact with Dr. Richa and then get to know about your project. They will tell you, they will rather guide you about the mini project, how it has to be written, and then how to identify some mini projects. And all, you have to be in touch with her, because by the time you go for your mid-semester exam, you should also be, discuss, you must have identified by now the project, what kind of project you wanted to do, then accordingly what kind of practical they will be showing and all. So twice, in my opinion, you have to go, because I have run the diplomas earlier also. With that experience, I am telling. So you need to plan twice. One is, plan for your midsem exam. During that time, identify the project and then start working on that, and then complete the midsem exam, and then you can leave the campus. The second time you will be visiting the campus is for your semester end exam. So like that, 2 semesters, 4 times you may have to visit the campus. But anyway, let me just, we can, as for today, we have completed these, what you call, theories, and tomorrow most probably we will discuss the crimes against property, lives and all we will discuss. But I know it's better, the earlier you react with them and then get some clarification, that would be better. So we'll leave meeting for today.
Yeah, thank you, ma'am.
Right.
Thank you, ma'am.
Right.
Thank you, ma'am.
Right. Welcome. తలపడుతున్నా